What's good, y'all? Welcome to The Edge, where you can get the edge to college success. And today's episode one, and I'm here with my boy Damon. Yeah, we played at University of Mary for some years, and now this man is doing great things, playing in indoor football, and he's gonna answer some questions for us, give y'all a little bit of advice, motivational, kind of conversation that y'all can utilize in your experience going through the college, journey. So. First things first, we're gonna get straight into it. So for those who don't know, man, tell them a little bit about yourself and what you're doing now, really.
Yeah, my name is Damon Williamson. Football player by nature, college graduate. Played ball with Markel at University of Mary for a few years, starting in 2019. I transferred out of University of Mary and went to Arizona State 2021, 2023. Graduated from there, got my degree in communications, was playing ball the whole time. And now I play indoor, as Markel said, professional arena in this league called the IAL. It's the International Arena League. So we got teams in America and teams in Europe in our league. We're about mid-season right now. So I'm currently out in Utah. That's where my team is based out of, Salt Lake City. And yeah, just out here doing my thing, living the dream while I can, just taking the most out of my opportunities until the window closes. So that's what
Yep.
we got going on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what you got to do. Enjoy that, my boy. Enjoy that for real. So, kind of, real quick, kind of take us back from the beginning. How did your journey start, and what was the path like? What it looked like for you from youth football to where you are now?
Started playing ball when I was like 6 years old. My pops put me in flag football. I played flag for a long time, a lot of seasons, won a lot of trophies, luckily. And not just participation, but we was winning championships on my team. So a lot of that. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
play tackle ball until I think it was the year before high school started. So I was probably like 13, 12 or 13. Playing in Arizona, where I was growing up at the time. Competition was pretty stiff. It was kind of a class that I feel like I came up with where we really started to have a lot of talent in Arizona,
Yep.
which wasn't something that was always there. So that was cool. Playing tackle, I started out playing quarterback, and that was kind of
Okay.
what I loved to do. I was playing quarterback throughout flag and tackle youth ball. When I got to high school, I played quarterback, freshman, sophomore, and junior year. And then I
Mm.
ended up transferring high schools and kind of moving to another district. When I got to that other school, I switched positions. So I started
Okay.
playing DB. I only played defensive back for 1 year when I was a senior, and it was all fairly new to me. But I was just, I worked hard enough and I was athletic enough to kind of just make the transition somewhat smoothly. I did pretty well.
Okay.
They had 1 year of tape on film. So with the film that I was able to collect in high school playing DB, I had some Division II offers and some Division III offers. I think I had like one Division I offer. It was Division I FCS from NAU, but they wanted me to
Mm.
play. They wanted me to play receiver, and I
Oh,
had
I
no
see.
experience there. So I was kind of just
Yeah.
like looking at the best options as to who would give me the best chance to develop at what I was playing at, and
Okay.
also, my best chances to play sooner than later.
Right.
Just so I could get the reps because I was still fairly new to playing defensive back. So I decided to go to University of Mary. They kind of brought me in, brought me up on a visit, met some guys, met the coaches. They pretty much told me, with my abilities and what they think I could turn out to be, they want to see me on the field early. I could
Yep.
really help the team. And then it was just like, they were building a culture. So it was just my decision ended up being to go up to the Midwest in North Dakota and play ball. And that's where we met.
Yep.
So yeah, after that, like I said, I did a couple years up there, played pretty well. Hopped into the transfer portal when that started to boom. Got in the transfer portal, had some talks here and there, had a lot of connections just from, playing ball in a lot of places and knowing a lot of people. And I ended up getting picked up by Arizona State. So I went to Arizona State in 2021. Had a lot of good people, played a lot of talented players, Heisman
Mm.
Trophy winners,
Mm.
first round draft picks, had guys like that on my team as well. Met a lot of dope coaches. Firm Edwards was my first coach. And I had Kenny Dillingham. Just met a lot of cool people and did a lot of cool things. And I was blessed with
That's
that
cool.
opportunity. So yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah, bro. That is a good journey, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I wish I would have known a little bit more, bro. That's one of the things I wish I knew more and had a little bit more confidence in the transfer portal. Because one of the things I was really scared of was like I didn't want to get in the transfer portal and then like end up at a school where I'm gonna be a walk on or just have all this debt. You feel me? Like it was a lot of things going through my head, and I just didn't have that confidence. And just like you said, it's like the transfer portal was booming at the time for you, so I didn't have that knowledge. You feel me? So I feel like that's something that viewers can, take away from that aspect. But as far as from everything you just told us, man, some great stuff. Was there, was there a certain moment when you realized football could take you beyond high school?
Yeah, I kind of had set a goal for myself when I was in high school, still playing quarterback. A lot of kids, like, when they're playing ball in high school, especially like my generation starting to come up, seeing how much money can be made, a lot of kids kind of set a goal that they wanted to go to the NFL.
Right.
When I was in high school, I didn't have aspirations to play pro. I just had aspirations to get a scholarship to get my school paid for.
Mm,
So when I was, junior year, senior year, I had grew a little bit. My talent started to kind of rise and I switched positions. Had people looking at me, had big schools looking at me, whatever. Even if they didn't get the offer, it kind of just gave me like a feeling like I might have an opportunity to go somewhere with this and actually get my college paid for like I had set my goal to do.
yeah, right.
Um, Neither of my parents ended up graduating college. Like both of them had attended school for a little bit of time, but neither of them had graduated. My older
Mm,
brother played ball as well in high school, but he gave up the game to pursue theater and some other interests. He ended up going to college for theater and then he did accounting. So he was really the first one in my immediate family to go through all the way. And so he was kind of setting the path for me, and I wanted to create my own path to be able to do the same thing.
there you go.
So yeah, I was able to just be blessed enough to, have good opportunities. I had big schools come look at me in high school and I got offers from some of the smaller schools. To me, like even though everybody wants to go play D1 or whatever, which is cool, is great. My original goal is just to get my school paid for. And so
Right.
I was able to do that. Luckily, even going through the University of Mary at first and then the transfer portal, yada yada yada. So that's kind of how that went for me. It was just making it to make my parents proud, get to college, get a degree, and then make something of myself. And
Right.
so now at this point, having professional opportunity is just more of a blessing that I had asked for or even thought about getting to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just taking this opportunity while I can because I know not a lot of people get the opportunity and just seeing where it takes me, whether I finish here where I'm at or I move up to a bigger league like the
Mm-hmm.
Canadian or the UFL or possibly even the
Yep.
NFL. You just never know how
You
things
just
gonna work
never
out.
know. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just do your thing and ball out, man. All
absolutely.
right. Last question in this section here. Looking back, what's one decision or moment that like changed the trajectory of your career that you can think of or you feel like really changed things for you?
I feel like that's a great question. I think my decision to get in the transfer portal after you marry was really the turning point in my career.
Mm,
I had some discourse about the decision from my coaching staff at UMary, our coaching staff. Um, it wasn't really necessarily about UMary or whatever the case may be. It was kind of just me betting on myself.
mm,
I felt like I was capable of making it at the next big level, Division 1 ball with some of the top talent. Not a lot of people really believed in me, and even at certain points, it kind of felt like the coaching staff that I had at University of Mary, even though they thought I could play there, they
yeah.
didn't necessarily think my game would translate to the higher level. And it was almost like I was trying to be convinced not to leave in a way, not to kind of bet on myself. But I just went ahead and decided like I have been betting on myself all throughout my career and it got me
Mm-hmm.
as far as it did. Why would I stop now? You know what I'm
There
saying?
you
So
go.
I felt like I could do it. So I just kind of trusted myself. I had a good support system, my family,
Yeah.
close friends. So, I just went ahead and made that decision and everything kind of changed. My life changed after that. When I
There
got in
you
the
go.
portal, it was scary. The recruiting process all
Mm-hmm.
over again. But now it ain't just me being looked at coming out of high school with the talent in Arizona. It's me being looked at with college experience going up against everybody across the country that
Yep.
has at every different level.
Yep.
So it's like you taking that risk, you know what's going to come out of it. Like if you look
Right.
at the numbers today, the percentage of Division 3 and Division 2 NAIA athletes that get in the portal and land somewhere else is relatively small. Like a lot of those people just end up
Mm.
retiring or just they just don't play no more. Or they end up back at the same school where they was at. So you just take a big risk, and I guess I was just blessed enough for it to work out in a way. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, see, that's a good point right there because I didn't. That's how I thought. I was scared of it in that aspect, and I didn't really understand it. But like you pointed out, you said something that's interesting to me. You said like some of those guys ended up going back to where they originally were at. So I think that's a good piece of knowledge to know, because for me, I thought like once you hit the transfer portal, you got to go somewhere else. Like I didn't know like going back to where you were at was an option. Like,
Hmm.
so when you say that, are you saying guys who go somewhere else and then go back to where they are? Or do you saying guys who enter the transfer portal, hit nothing, and then somehow get back, stay where they're at? Like, what do you mean by that?
Basically, when I got in the portal, the transfer portal was a relatively new thing. It was kind of like the same way when NIL hit and the rules were very like gray or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
So when the
Yeah.
transfer portal first became like a big thing, that was around the time that I had got in it. I saw for myself the ability for players to get in the portal and then come back to where they were before if they didn't get anything or if they just changed their decision really came down to their relationship with the coaching staff.
Uh,
So I guess it was kind of in a sense where some coaches and players had a relationship to where it felt like if they wanted to move on to somewhere else, the coach was okay with that just because they wanted to follow their dream or whatever. If they
yeah.
didn't get what they wanted to get out of the portal, and him and that coach or that player and that coach felt like, I'm willing to bring you back because, I still believe in you as a player and I'd like to have you in my program,
Yeah.
then some players were allowed to come back and still be where they were before.
So, do they keep when they get in that situation? Do they keep most of? Is it like do they lose that scholarship that they once had, or is it like the coaches? If you have a good enough relationships, the coaches might just give it to you back.
It's really about the relationship. It really is.
Really about the relationship.
There were some cases where I saw kids try to go back
Mm,
and that relationship was not
how
what
good?
they thought it was or not good enough for them to be kept. Some coaches, in a way kind of took it personal, like, okay, well, if you didn't want to play here in the first place, I'm not going to come ask you to be back with us just because you didn't get anything. So
Mm,
technically, when it comes to contracts and scholarships and signing for stuff like that, I do believe, if I remember correctly, if you got in the portal, your scholarship was supposed to be good throughout the remainder of that semester or however long you signed it for. I think like in Division 2 where we were at, if I'm not mistaken, I think our scholarships were year to year
yeah, I
or so.
think ours were year to year.
So
Mm,
it was different than Division 1 players getting in. Ours was like year to year or semester to semester, something like that. So I think your scholarship was good throughout however long you had signed it for, even if you got in the portal and didn't get anything. And then it was
mm.
kind of up to the coaching staff if they wanted to bring you back for more, they could sign you again, kind of the way
Okay, I
you.
see what you're saying. See, now that's
If
some
I'm
good piece of
mistaken,
knowledge right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, in Division 1, you sign a scholarship, they can take it away from you if you were like breaking code of conduct or something like that. But
Hmm.
I think they have to honor that scholarship for however long they signed it for, and it could be a longer period of time than other
Right.
divisions.
Okay, so yeah, relationship is definitely important. Okay, for sure, for sure. That's one good tip. So let's go ahead and knock out these next set of questions here. We're going to kind of touch into the recruiting and college aspect of things, our mindset of things. So the first thing I want to ask is like, I mean, you kind of touched it already, but like, what was one of your recruiting Okay, what was your recruiting process like out of high school? Like for me, it was more like I had to hit up the high school coach and was like, "Yo, coach, I want to play college, football." And I didn't wait until like maybe my end of my junior year, and then he was like, "Oh, like I didn't know that." And then he started to like put in the work, put in the word, and then the school came down. He told me to come in. I talked to the coaches, and that kind of like how it started off for me. But like, what was it like for you?
The recruiting process for me was interesting. Again, it has a lot to do with the relationship with your coach, even in high school.
Yep.
There are some coaches out there across the country in high schools that would really put their best foot forward to try and get their players to college. And then there are other coaches who are just, strictly focused on their high school ball and they really could care less what happens with those players after, their high school career is over with. My recruiting process was I had coaches that were kind of putting a word out for me, but it wasn't like full effort like some people may have got. It was not to say that they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They brought me in, sometimes college coaches come to campuses and they want to talk to certain players or whatever. They might have called me in for a couple of coaches to come talk to me and stuff like that. or they might have, reached out to a couple local coaches that they knew or just guys that they had been friends with from back in the day that have coaching positions somewhere.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, I wasn't like a 5-star or whatever. So it wasn't like it was the same amount of effort that some other players may have gotten from their coaches, which is,
Yeah.
fine. There's no grudge against them or nothing like that. They're just doing what they do, and that's fine. So because that was the case for me and because I had switched positions and didn't have that much film, I took it upon myself, me and my father took it upon ourselves to really reach out on our own and kind of just make that move and take the initiative to do it, ourselves. So
Right.
that kind
Hmm.
of set like we had kind of came up with this template email, kind of giving myself a bio, talking about me, who I was, what I play, what I felt like my best attributes were, my stature, and then of course the most important part, or one of the most important parts, I should say, my GPA and how I had done in school so far. So we came up with that template email, and
Hmm.
it was kind of just like a find every school that you may be interested in going in, or even if you're not
There
interested,
you
just
go.
name out there. You shoot that email out yourself, send it to anyone and everyone that's willing to listen and open to read it. So I
Yep.
think I probably sent between me and my father, we might have sent over 1,000 emails of almost the same
Jeez.
template, just kind of like just altering it or whatever to
Yeah.
that school specifically. You want to look into what they offer as a school, not just as a football program or as a sports
Yep.
program. You want to look at what they offer
Mm.
as a school. Kind of put that in your email as well if that's something you're interested in. Kind of let them know you might like to do this and that, and how their program best fits you, as well as how you best fit their program. So that was really the main recruiting process for me, was putting myself out there.
Yeah.
So like I said, over 1,000 emails, probably talking to all these different coaches. You might only get 20 back out of those 1,000 emails. Maybe 20, 10 coaches might hit you back, but those
Right.
20 or 10 coaches that might hit you back, that's your opportunity. You only need
Yep.
one, literally.
Yep.
Um, so University of Mary was one of those teams that kind of hit me back. They had reached out to me the same way I had reached out to them. I got offers from probably over 20 Division II schools,
Mm.
10, 15 Division III schools, NAIA,
Hmm.
all those type of offers. And like I said earlier, I had that one Division I FCS offer from Northern Arizona, and they wanted me to play receiver, which I hadn't done before. I didn't really want to do that,
Right.
but the recruiting process for me, after I sent all those emails, I got a few hits back. Once you get your hits back, those are the ones you want to narrow down. Like, you want to focus on that. You want to interact. You want to be consistent.
Yeah.
You just want to hear them out, and it'll start to build from there. Once you start getting a little resume of schools that'll contact you and show interest, that could help you potentially get other schools to reach out, because now you can post on social media saying this team or that team has talked to me or offered me a scholarship. This team or that team is interested and I do this, and they're in your conference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now your conference is reaching out to you. Another team in that same conference might now want to reach out to you because they'd rather have you than let the competitor have you.
Yeah.
So it was just like that. And then, like I said, I had decided on UMary. I took an official visit up there, talked to the coaching staff. I had talked to a few other schools here and there too. Had some other offers that were interesting me, but it just seemed like the best fit for me at the time was UMary. So I went ahead and committed. I did
There you go.
signing day. Signing day was a really cool experience. I had a lot of my family there, a lot of my closest friends at the school watched me sign. And then I headed up there. I got up there
Yeah.
in the fall, put in the work. They didn't really hand anything to me. I had to put in the work. I definitely
Yep.
felt like I
Yep.
had talent today, but showed up every day, did what I had to do, and I ended up playing my freshman year. So it was good.
There you go. See, now that's solid right there. That's what I like. That's what I like to hear, because like that's what one of the things we want to help out families with, and that's what one of our guides consists of, is how to communicate with coaches. It even gives a template that you can utilize and how to create those highlight reels. Like that's the stuff that we're providing with the parents and athletes with some of the stuff with some of our products that we're selling. You feel me? It's just providing that value. So, what was the biggest adjustment that you realized from high school football to college football? Like what was like whoa, this is different. Like what was the thing that stood out?
My answer might surprise some people, but it's actually nothing to do with playing football. Playing
Mm,
football in college is much different than high school, but to be completely honest, the school part, it
way
was
different.
night and day, night and day. Um,
Yup.
I was a like a honor roll, honors classes, advanced college classes in high school kind of guy. I went to a pretty good school. They had, one of those top 25 academic schools, whatever. And I
Yeah.
was doing what I needed to do. I was really good in school, and I was able to balance football and school very well. My parents were on top of me. I kept my grades up. I think I finished with like a 3.9, and that's with the weighted stuff with the honors and all that in high school. When I got to
Mm.
college, I'm not gonna lie, I bombed my freshman year. Like bombed, completely bombed it. I couldn't
Oh shoot.
figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
One of the things that kind of comes with the territory playing as a freshman, you don't really get the same adjustment period as guys who come in and they redshirt or they're just not, they don't have as much expectation. They're kind of just chilling,
Yeah.
waiting on their turn. It's not really like that when you play early. And I had a hard time trying to balance that and figure out, where my priorities and my focus should be throughout the day to day. It's
Right.
not like I
Right.
was doing terrible things like skipping class and doing all that stupid stuff. I wasn't really doing that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just more so, when I was in high school, school kind of came easy to me for the most part. When I
Yeah.
got to college, and there was so much more demand, so much more
Oh yeah.
asked of me. I had so much more responsibilities, and I'm coming into adulthood trying to figure out how to do this and that, and then trying to figure out how to have a social life on top. It
Hmm.
hindered me like real bad. I almost wasn't even eligible after freshman year. It was that bad.
Really.
And I was so unaccustomed to that because I was so good in school in high school. I just had to really lock in that following like semester. My second semester, I had to really lock in, or I wasn't going to be eligible for the next year to play.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest transition for me. The hardest part between college ball and high school ball is not ball at all.
Right.
Like football is football regardless. School
Hmm.
changes. Like you go from high school to college, and you're dealing with adults that and professors that have real deal experience and PhDs, and they really are expecting a lot of you because you signed up to
Hmm.
be in this class. They don't care about your football and your academics or whatever athletic sport you
Yup.
play and whatever else
Yup.
you got going on. You paid to be in this class, and they know that you're paying for it or somebody's paying for it. So they're not gonna lighten up on you just because you play a sport and you're supposed to be cool guy on campus. Like it's not like that.
Right.
So that's the biggest transition. So if anybody out here is listening to that hasn't got to college yet and has aspirations, make sure when you get there you're ready to do school. And there's
Yup.
plenty of resources to help you in most places, most schools you go to. There's plenty of resources. You got to use them because you don't use them, you're gonna end up like me, bombing it. And I had to fight and scratch and claw to come back to play ball and be eligible and then get my grades back right in my GPA so I could try to graduate.
Okay. See, now that's solid. See, and that's another thing we help out with. One of our products kind of explains how for parents how they can be there for their athletes and understanding that it's more than just sports, you feel me? And there's a lot of demand like you said. So, yeah, that's solid. I'm happy you brought that up. So the last thing in that little category is you kind of touched a little bit on it already, but what's something recruits think college athletics will be like that isn't true? Like some you might have heard of that you know for sure isn't true. I mean, you kind of already touched on some of it, but like, is there something different, or do you think it's kind of the same thing you already said?
I think the first thing that comes to mind, honestly, is even if you come in as a freshman, there's no classification for leadership in a program.
Mm.
You don't have to be a fifth year senior to be like a leader or a captain on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You lead by example. Once you get to college, like everybody's adults,
Yeah.
unless you come in at
Yep.
17. But even then, if they're bringing you in and you're 17, you're young, the expectation does not change for you. So that's one thing that people should look out for if they go play college sports, regardless of what sport you play. Age does not mean much when it comes
Mm.
to the program. Now, as far as experience goes, literally being out there on the field or on the court or on the pitch, wherever whatever sport you play, you probably have a little bit less experience. Therefore, they might have certain things that they could do that you are not accustomed to yet. You haven't seen it. But when it comes to
Mm.
just being in the program itself, everything that goes on off the field or in the meeting room or the weight room or whatever, there's no age or no classification and grade that accounts to leadership. Leadership can be anybody.
There you go. See, yep, that's a good point too. I like that. All right, so we can go right into these next questions. This is more of just the challenges and growth through the college experience. First one is, what was the toughest obstacle you faced during your football journey?
That is a hard question.
Mm-hmm.
There's no matter how you go about it, the longer you play, the more challenges you're going to find. It's never going to get easy. Certain routines that you do in your sport, college athlete, pro athlete, whatever, like you may have the same routine and certain parts of that routine make it easier. You're gonna face challenges every season, every year. I think for me, I think honestly, when I was at UMary my freshman year, I played right away. When I got to ASU, I had to learn how to take a bit of a backseat role and make some adjustments. When you're not the guy anymore, or if you come into a program, even as a freshman, where you're not playing right away and you kind of have to see other people getting the opportunities that you want, it can really mess with your mental. I think
Mm,
mental aspect of the game or of any
yeah,
sport when you're taking it serious like that is more difficult than the physical
yeah,
10 times out of 10. Um,
100%.
it's hard. It's really hard to continue
Yeah,
to every single day and do what's asked of you every single day the right way when you're not getting what you want out of it right
yeah,
that second. You got to stay down, you know? So
yeah.
there's been multiple times in my career where I just had to stay down, especially when I got to ASU and everybody on the field was as good as me, if not better.
Hmm.
Rather than me feeling like, oh, my talent can kind of just let me leapfrog over some of the competition or whatever the case may be. It's not like that everywhere. So I feel like when I got to ASU and I kind of had to sit down for a little bit, I ended up redshirting from an injury. But even before the injury, I really wasn't playing all that much when I first got there. It's kind of just like a riding the bench, backup, special
Hmm.
team, whatever, and I wasn't used to that.
Yeah,
So that kind of between my first year and my second year, that off season was hard for me, just trying to figure out how to handle it mentally because I felt like it was really affecting me in the way that I was carrying myself on a day to day.
yeah.
I didn't like that. So
Hmm.
you gotta figure out how to deal with the hardships because it's not always gonna be sunshine and rainbows in sports ever.
Right. Yep. Yep. And that kind of answers the next question too. More just like, was there ever a moment where you doubted rather you continue playing? And I feel like those moments could be part of that. You feel me? Just being playing in that backseat role. It's like, dang, bro, like, am I even like in the right place? Like, should I even like continue wasting my time? I think that that plays a part in that for sure. I don't know if it's anything different for you when it comes to that type of question, but I think that that definitely plays a role.
Self doubt almost ended my career multiple times.
Mm,
Confidence is key. Self belief is key. Faith is key. Like when I say stay down and be patient, you're really gonna have to do that sometimes because there's always somebody better than you.
mm-hmm.
Even if their talent is not higher than yours, they might have just done more of the right things than you. So you just got to stay down and be patient. I have literally contemplated just ending it, quitting, and retiring a lot of times. And it might be you feel like that one day, you sleep on it, and then you wake up and realize, oh, I was totally tripping. I'm ready to go. I need to go put the work in and just compete for what I want.
Yeah,
It's kind of like how life is.
right.
You can just decide to just quit one day if you got a job or a career, corporate or medical or whatever the case may be, and things get tough. You can't just quit. They won't
Yeah,
take you back the next day if you just quit most of the time. Sports teaches you a lot of that, especially when you get to college or pro and things get serious. You're making money, you're trying to get a degree, whatever the case may be. You can't just decide I'm gonna be in my feelings today and just decide to go ahead and just leave and give it
mm-hmm.
up because
Mm-hmm.
self doubt crept in, or you just felt like you weren't being treated the right way, or it's not going how you want it to go. It doesn't work like that because if
Right.
you quit, that could really just be it, and you might regret that decision. So I had to kind of use my support system, my family, and my friends, as well as just myself, just keeping myself grounded,
Yeah,
thinking it could all be worth it in the end.
that's
Due to
what
the
kept you going through those difficult
Exactly.
moments.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
100%. It could
Mm-hmm.
be worth it. And remember what your goals was. You reached your goal. Now you still here. You know what I'm saying? And you could potentially do more. You got to see it through.
Yeah,
Don't start something and not finish it. So, that's kind of what kept me going.
100%, bro. That's solid right there. That's solid. For the viewers out there, man, y'all gotta telling y'all should be taking notes. 100%. All right, so now we finna go into a little bit of we almost finished, so but we finna go into a little bit of professional questions we got for you now that you're a professional athlete, big baller, you feel me? So the first one is, kind of walk us through how you made the jump from college football to professional football. Like what was that experience for you and how you went about it?
Taking the jump from college to pro is not as difficult as high school to college, I don't think.
Mm,
You have a lot more experience now. And honestly, the way that college programs run their organizations today is more pro than ever before, I think. go to the right place and you're in the right situation, you're kind of getting equipped with the tools to handle a professional environment. It's a lot of the same.
100%.
Be early. Early is on time. On time is
Yep.
late. Just handling responsibilities, prioritizing things the right way, managing your time, stuff like that, and then just working
Mm-hmm.
hard. Once you make it to the pros and you sign a contract, that don't really mean that you get to just vibe and chill
Mm-hmm.
because you signed the contract. Like you have to
Still putting
continue.
in work. Yep.
Uh, so my transition hasn't really been all too difficult, I'd say. Not to say that this job is easy because it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely not, and it takes a toll on you. But I felt like I was pretty prepared coming in. Honestly, I
Yeah.
had been to a couple different schools, so I got to experience a couple.
Experience of things. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it hasn't been that difficult to me. I think that if you're blessed enough to make it to the pros, which is a very small percentage, no matter what league you're in, by the way, it doesn't have to be the biggest of the big.
Right. Right.
NFL, UFL, whatever. It doesn't have to, the percentages of being pro at all, regardless of where you go, are small. So number one, just be grateful for your opportunity. You get
100%. Yeah.
paid to do an activity that people like to watch for entertainment.
Yeah.
So it's just a blessing in itself. You got to keep your faith. You got to stay down, stay patient. When you get to the pros, everybody's on contract and their contract might be different than yours. So you
Mm-hmm.
might just think, oh, I should be this guy or that guy or in this position because I'm performing. Well, somebody else might be not performing as well as you right now, but their contract says, hey, they need to be out there. Um,
Mm.
you gotta kind of know your role at a certain point until you become maybe that guy that just has that contract. So no matter what, they're gonna be out there. There's just
Mm-hmm.
different aspects that you might not experience somewhere else or at a lower level. But when it comes to the sport itself, the game is the game. You
Yeah.
play how you play, and whatever got you there is what's gonna keep you there if
It's
you
gonna keep
continue
you there.
honing on your craft. So
Okay.
when it comes to actually being out on the field or on the court, the pitch, the baseball diamond, whatever the case may be, the game don't change. It
It
might get a
don't
little
change.
faster. That the guys might get a little stronger, the girls might get a little
Yeah.
stronger, faster, they shoot better, or whatever the case of your sport may be. But the
Yeah.
game's the same. It's the off the field stuff that you got to manage. That you can and just keep developing and grinding and honing on your craft.
So would you say that is like the biggest difference between college football and professional football? Because you said the transition wasn't that difficult, or do you think there's something else that's like a real big difference between college football and professional football? Because college football kind of, like you said, prepares you for it. So you're already learning some of those things going into it. But like once you get there, like have you noticed something that is completely different than, college?
I think one of the other things I guess I could throw out there is you kind of have to work a little harder to get chemistry with the team. Um,
Mm,
when you're a professional, you're no longer, in a college campus. On a college campus, you're together all the time. There's
true.
different activities going on around the school, and everybody kind of ends up in the same buildings and the same places a lot of the
True.
time.
Same
Uh,
basketball game, same.
exactly.
Yeah.
Other sport events, different events. You have classes with guys because y'all are in the same like
Yep.
major and stuff like that.
Yep.
Pro is not like that at all. Like these people,
They got
age range
lives.
could be anything.
Yeah.
Any form of adult age range from 22 to 35 or 40. We see LeBron playing at 40, however, and these guys. I mean, it could be anything. These
Right.
guys have their lives, families, kids to feed. Depending on where you're playing at, maybe other jobs are going on and stuff like that. So it's the chemistry of the team and the camaraderie and getting to know your teammates, especially if you're playing like a team game. It's a lot harder to do and it takes more effort. So you got to put your best foot forward if you really want, your team to bond and gel together. It ain't like y'all are just together all the time just because. So
Right.
that definitely
Okay.
changes things. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that 100%. That definitely is different because everybody got their own lives. They don't got to be with their teammates doing the same stuff. So yeah, for sure. And then what's kind of last question in this section? What's something fans don't realize about what it takes to play professionally? Like when you look in the stands and you see fans, like what's one thing you think like, man, they don't understand this. You know what I'm saying?
Consistency.
Consistency. Yep.
Consistency is key.
A lot of stuff. Pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's like everything else in life. You want to keep your career going. You got a job doing real estate, sales, whatever. You got to be consistent, or it's not going to go nowhere. You start your own business. You got to be consistent, or it's not going to go nowhere. Even like the
Hmm.
people who do social media these days, you might put
You
out a
gotta
video that just randomly goes viral one day, and all of a sudden you get clicks. Well, if you don't come out with the next best thing in the next week, your clicks will disappear just as fast as you
Yep.
got.
Yep.
Playing pro sports is the same way. Like you have to be consistent in what you do all the time, or else you're going to lose your spot. You're not going to get play time. That contract might disappear next year. You know, any of those things could happen. There's a lot of different factors to how you be consistent. You work out, you take care of your body. You're in the meeting rooms, you're watching film on your own, just doing stuff outside of what's mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a consistency. So talent only takes you so far, and getting to the professional level has shown me that in a way that I never thought I'd see it before. There's guys here that I feel like, man, how are you not out there on the field being a starter? I've seen what you can do moving around at practice. Well, they've got a lot of things going on in life that are preventing them from being consistent. There's
Mm.
guys that I played with in college, or I met in college, or played against, that I felt like were way more talented than me, like way.
Yeah.
They didn't have it together off the field. They weren't being consistent in their workouts. They weren't showing up on time. They weren't doing the things day in and day out that are required in order to make it to the higher level.
Mm-hmm.
So, consistency is key. And a lot of people just don't see that, or they're not wired a certain way to be able to keep up with
Keep
that
doing it.
lifestyle. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, dude. That's facts. That's how I live. I live by consistency, man, for sure. Um, so this next question is more of just like for the viewers, just to give them advice, you know what I'm saying? Um, and the first thing I want to start off with, if you were sitting down with your 16-year-old self right now, like we are right now, what advice would you give him?
Stop worrying about what everybody else thinks.
Mm,
The mental part, like I said earlier, is so important. You gotta stop worrying about what everybody else thinks and worry about yourself. Not to
yeah.
be selfish necessarily, but also to be selfish in certain moments.
Yeah.
Like prioritize yourself
In prior to,
and
yep.
stop worrying about what everybody else is saying about you or to you. Like it's like if you don't believe in what you think you should be doing, or how you should get there, or what your potential is, it don't matter. It's never
Mm-hmm.
gonna happen. So if you let other people keep getting in your head and you believe what they tell you, and you get down on yourself because of what everybody else is saying, it's never gonna work out. It's not.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. And that's
like
and
being
that
on the
like you
side
said,
bottle.
there's two different types of ways of thinking about that for sure, like 100%. Believe in yourself really is what it is, you know. You're not being selfish in a negative way. You're being selfish in a positive way by just believing in yourself and taking a chance on yourself. You feel me? So 100% on that. What would you say is one mistake you see young athletes making today?
I think I see younger athletes today they try to like take the shortcuts in a way.
Mm, yeah,
They also like they take shortcuts and they have the wrong mindset. I
yeah.
think taking shortcuts, I mean they cheat the workout, You don't do
Cheat
all
the
the reps you're
workout
supposed to,
or they don't
you know
go
what I'm
through the
saying?
proper grind, the proper
Go
work
through the
ethic.
grind. They're not taking it. If you're like a high school athlete and you say you want to make it to college, that's cool. But are your actions reflecting that?
Mm,
You could always do more. Somebody's always working harder than you. So you think you're doing enough, or you might just be naturally born with all this talent. That's great. It might get you there, but it ain't gonna keep you there.
mm-hmm.
There's gonna be guys that come in to school, these big time schools, whatever you think you might go because you're a 3, 4, 5 star, whatever your rating is. When you get there, nobody cares. It doesn't matter.
No.
Everybody like it's an even playing field. So
Yeah,
you gotta do more. Somebody's working harder than you. No matter
yeah.
what you're doing, there's somebody working harder than you. So you gotta do more. And then when I say they're in the wrong mindset, it's also kind of like for this generation and what I just came out of in college, NIL just hit and it's booming like never before.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are just playing for the money, and that's understandable.
Yeah,
Can't be mad at them because they're just giving it away. If you have certain aspirations, you want to make it to the NFL or college, don't just go playing for the money. Because
yeah.
as soon as you get that first, piece of little change in your hand that they give you, whatever the amount is, you're gonna get complacent and be satisfied. Like,
Mm,
don't be satisfied with that. Some guys want to stay in college longer based off the fact that they could get more money playing in college rather than go up and play at the highest level. So if you only
right.
there just to get the money, or you only there just to get the girl or whatever the case may be, like it ain't gonna work out for you.
They stop playing with that chip on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So what's one thing athletes should start doing right now if they want to play at the next level?
One thing I should have done more often, every night, Push-ups and sit-ups, bro.
Push-ups and sit-ups
I know
every
that
night.
it might sound kind of like low grade, but
Yeah,
if you're like a young athlete just now coming to high school or you ain't hit college yet, or
start
even
hitting
if
the
you're,
weights.
I can do it now, even if you're in college.
Yeah.
If you can hit the weights in the weight room and all that, but push-ups and sit-ups at night would take you a long way. It might
Mm,
sound crazy, but you get them 300 to 400 push-ups in a day and
that
them
gets you
200,
right.
300 abs, your core is going to save you from injuries. Your core is going to make you faster. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
be more impressive at the workouts when you come into college or whatever the case may be. It's just going to show that you're working and it's going to pay off,
Yeah.
different
Just gotta be
sizes, different
consistent
heights.
with it.
Whatever you do them push-ups and sit-ups at night, you're going to feel the difference for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't do them, you do it for a while and then you stop doing it, you'll notice the fall
You'll
off.
notice it, yeah. Yep, yep. As soon as you take a break, you're gonna notice that for sure. And then we can kind of get some closing out questions here. And then I got a bonus question. So first question and things off, what's something you know now that you wish every athlete and parent knew before they starting this journey?
You got to look out for yourself first, or look out for your child first.
Mm,
There are some good programs and good coaches out there that really care about the people, but there are
yeah,
way more coaches and programs out there that just care about their success
their success. Yup.
to the sport. They don't really care about the people
Yeah,
that
that's a good one.
front.
That's a good
Uh,
one.
but look out for your child and look out for yourself first. Put your best interests at everything because that's what
Bro.
they're gonna do. A lot of people are kind of going to use your abilities and your talents and what you provide for them while you're there. And once that's over with, or once you can no longer do it because of injury or whatever the case may be, that relationship may fade quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So look out for yourself first or your child first and put their best interest in mind before anything else.
That's solid, bro. That's solid. I like that. Okay. So with that being said, like knowing kind of about like having a gist of what the edge is about, you know what I'm saying, and what we're trying to achieve and our mission, what does having the edge mean to you?
Having the edge means an advantage. You want to give yourself the best opportunity to get where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of people out there that don't really know the necessary steps in the right process, or how to go about the process. And it's nobody's fault. This is not something you just get randomly educated on. And there's not a lot of good education out there, not a lot of, good advice. So you really need to keep something under your belt that's going to give you an advantage because you're in competition with everybody else across the country.
100%. Yep.
You need something under your belt like the edge is going to benefit you in the best ways possible, give you the biggest advantage you can to get where you're trying to go or stay where you're at if you're already somewhere like that. People they just don't know. It's
Yeah.
nobody's fault. And somebody has to teach them if you really want to get where you're going, you need to educate yourself. And you need to have
Exactly.
assistance. You can't do things on your own.
Conversation and information. Yep.
I've seen a lot of people try to do this stuff that I do on their own and they fizzle out and they disappear out this game or out this lifestyle because they just don't have the knowledge and the support. You can't do
Mm.
this by yourself. Um, Even if your circle's very, very small, use your resources to the best of your ability. And the edge is a big one that would help. If I had something like the edge when I was coming out of high school, who knows where I would have ended up, but I would have had more knowledge. I was blessed to have a father who had kind of been through a similar process as me. He was a college athlete as well, so he kind of knew to put my best foot forward. There's a lot of kids out there whose parents have no idea what's going on at all. They just show up
Mm.
to the, you know,
Yeah.
they show up
Yeah.
to the game, they shake the coach's hand, and then they hand their child the mail when it comes in. Like here at some schools mailing you, you might be able to go to college, but I don't really know. It's too competitive
Yeah.
with everybody in the country trying to do the same thing. So
Yeah.
that's where the edge is going to come in and make sure that people have the right knowledge and they're on the right path to get where they want to go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like that a lot, man. So like just to like kind of wrap things up before we get into our bonus question, where can people, follow your journey and kind of keep up with what you got going on in life, man?
All my social medias are at Primetime Dame, PrimeTimedame. Pretty much the same all throughout. I'm not huge on social media like that. Kind of, here when I'm there and there when I'm not, whatever. I don't really
Yeah.
do it much, but you can find me on there. I currently play for the Utah Grade Eights in the IAL. We're in season right now, middle of June. Got a game tomorrow night, actually,
Yup.
Saturday
Oh
night. So
yeah.
the Arizona team should be a good one.
Hmm.
So if you follow along with the IAL on YouTube or local TV, you might be able to see me. Um, Outside of that, I'll just be out the way. For real.
Yeah. Yeah. Go follow that man on social media, y'all. For real, for real. Doing good, doing great things, man. Doing great things. Um, and then yeah, finish it all out. I got a bonus question for you, and that question is simple as this: if there is one guide you think the Edge should provide for athletes and parents, either one, in any situation, what do you think that guide should be about?
Mm. I think, whew, that's a tough one. There's so many important factors.
Yes, sir. But that's what we all about. We want to help out in every situation possible.
I would say a guide on how to carry yourself on a day to day outside
Mm,
of your sport. Carrying yourself as a professional or carrying yourself more so just as a good person
mm.
um, is significantly important. This sports stuff only goes so far, and everybody needs to understand that it's going to end. And it might even end before it really gets started for certain people based off the situation. You need to learn and understand how to carry yourself as a person. You don't have to be
So
the same as everybody else, but basically what I'm trying to say is you're gonna make connections and grow relationships throughout
yeah,
your experiences. When you sign up to have the edge with you, that means you're probably trying to get somewhere or do something with your sports career or whatever the case may be.
yeah.
It's gonna come to an end at a certain point, but the things that will last is the relationships and the connections, and how people remember you is not always going to be from what you did in your sport. It might be from something off the field or out of there, any other nature. So I think it would
Yeah.
be important for the edge to have a guide on just the right ways to carry yourself, how to make the right decisions as a person, how to treat people.
So
Just name
basically, a guide on how to utilize your experience and the things you're going through to build character outside
absolutely,
of sport.
absolutely,
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. All right. Yeah, we're gonna definitely look into that. Um, yeah, y'all hear it first, man. If y'all see that guy come out, hey, you gonna know who it came from. Your boy Dame. Appreciate you coming on the edge and
absolutely.
being able to share your story, some advice, and just going through these questions with us, man. So that's episode one of the edge, you guys. Go check us out at theedgepdfguys.com. All of our products will be there. And go ahead, enjoy it, and become an affiliate of the program too. And subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for future interviews, conversations, maybe some behind the scenes, day in the life videos. That's what we're heading to, y'all. So subscribe to the channel. Your boy Markel and the Edge is signing out. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.